Hi y'all, welcome back to Cami's Kitchen and happy fall. I have been dying to do a soup recipe with you guys, and honestly I've been waiting for the weather to cooperate. It's still 90 degrees here in Texas, but we're doing it because I can't wait any longer. Also, the autumn squash soup is back at Panera, so I just felt like the timing was perfect. Like, it is now or never. Because our bread bowl is going to take the longest to make, we are going to start by mixing our sourdough. While it rests, we're going to prep, cook, and blend our veggies into our delicious pumpkin soup, followed by baking our bread and finally bringing both together to make the ultimate pumpkin bread bowl. Here we go. To make our dough, we're going to start by mixing 350 grams of warm water and 10 grams of active dry yeast. Two very important things you need to remember at this step. The first one is that you do not mix your yeast and your water. Once you put your yeast in there, you will notice that it starts to get frothy, and that's how you know that it's beginning to activate. That takes about 5 minutes. The second thing you need to remember is the water needs to be warm for the yeast to activate. If it's not warm enough, then the yeast will not like it, it will die, and your bread will not rise. After 5 minutes, we want to add our 500 grams of flour. I like to use all-purpose flour or bread flour, our 100 grams of sourdough discard, and lastly, our 10 grams of salt. Now it's time to use our stand mixer. If you do not have a stand mixer, then the next best thing is either your hands, if you don't mind getting messy, or just a regular bowl with a wooden spoon. We want to mix on low until all of our ingredients are combined and a shaggy dough forms. This usually takes 2 to 3 minutes for me. Now the only thing left for our sourdough to do is to rise, which typically takes about 2 hours in a warm place. Make sure it's not under a vent or anywhere that's going to get cold air. That is going to prevent it from rising completely, and we want it to at least double in size. We want to cover it up with whatever you want. I buy these shower caps on Amazon and they're amazing. I use them for all my sourdough. There we go. Meanwhile, we want to get our soup going because some of those veggies are going to take a while to cook. So let's go ahead and start by filling our pot with water, adding a little bit of salt, and putting it on medium-high heat while we chop up our veggies. I actually got this one at the pumpkin patch with my baby, and I was so excited because it looked perfect for the soup. The size was absolutely amazing. It's so funny because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that these decorative pumpkins, or the ones that you can use to carve, are actually the best ones for these squash or pumpkin soups. I also have about a half of a large white onion, 2 carrots, and 1 leek. I love soups like this because you can literally just take anything and everything that you have in the fridge and toss it in for flavor, and every time it's going to come out amazing. The other amazing thing about this soup is that you do not have to take the time to chop up your veggies in a specific way or in a specific size, because everything is just going to get blended at the end. So as long as they're cut smaller than what they originally came as, it's perfect. If for some reason you cannot find pumpkin at your local grocery store and do not have pumpkin patches around you, squash will work just as well, and it's amazing with squash, just squash. You can also combine squash and pumpkin, which is what Panera does, and their soup is incredible. Now that our water is nice and hot, let's go ahead and start with some fresh garlic, 1 of these little chicken flavored cubes, and of course all of our veggies. This is also where you know if you added enough water to your pot. If all of the veggies are submerged underwater, you did. If some of them are poking out because there's not enough water and there's too many veggies, then you should add a little more. I think I can easily say that this is my only complaint of this recipe is the time, because you have to wait for everything. It's not a quick recipe by any means. You have to wait for the dough to rise, wait for your veggies to cook, wait for everything to come together, but I promise you it is worth the wait and it's worth the time. It's been about 45 minutes since we left our soup on high heat with the lid on. Some of the things you should be noticing by now is that your water has turned from clear to almost orangey. This is due to the pumpkin beginning to disintegrate. Also, if you start picking up pieces of your veggies and you notice that when you stick a fork in them, they either come apart or start to dissolve in the fork, that means that it is ready to be blended. I have my blender, I have my veggies, everything is cooked. The time has come to blend. We're slowly gonna start putting all of our veggies in. And you do want to add all of the water that's in here as well into the blender. Some people just use the veggies and whatever liquid soaks up in the veggies, and sometimes that's enough. But for this specific soup, we want all of the liquid that we can have. This is gonna go really bad, or I'm gonna look really cool. news is I didn't get any on my white shirt. Bad news is that I'm gonna still have veggies to blend after this, so I'm gonna have to get another bowl. If you have a blender like this one that has this hole, make sure that it's open because I did not let my soup cool down all the way. If you have the time, I would 100% do that. It's just lukewarm, so I think we'll be fine. But usually when it's too hot, the heat will build up a lot of pressure, and if there's nowhere for the pressure to go, it might go everywhere. Oh, that smells amazing. Once our soup is nice and blended, this is the consistency that you're gonna want. Go ahead and turn your stovetop on low. We wanna make sure it stays warm and it continues to cook now that it's blended. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love soup, y'all. Soup makes me so happy. Let's try it. It is perfect. It's officially been 2 hours, so let's go ahead and check on our dough. You should notice that it has more than doubled in size by now, and it should come off this bowl pretty easily. Oh my gosh, that is so satisfying. We're gonna take some all-purpose flour and a strainer and just lightly flour your countertop. Next, we want to create a dough ball by starting at the top and folding the dough over towards the center. Repeat this folding process, working your way around the dough until you've completed a full circle. Then turn the dough ball completely over, allowing the countertop to create tension and helping you create a nice ball. Make sure your oven is preheated to 450 degrees and place your dough ball into your Dutch oven that is lined with parchment paper. You only need to create one large gash. I usually like to do it on the right side of my loaf. You can do it on the top. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you absolutely do not need a design, but I highly recommend it. Now we're ready to stick our sourdough in our preheated oven for 30 minutes with the lid on, and then another 30 minutes with the lid off. Finally, time to take our bread out of the oven, and oh my gosh, y'all, I cannot describe how amazing this smell is. Oh my goodness! I have always wanted to do this with my sourdough, and I finally get to, and I'm so excited that you guys are gonna be able to witness it. So ideally, your sourdough will continue to cook even after you take it out of your Dutch oven. So you want to leave it out for at least 15 minutes before you cut into it. I am so excited though. Golden brown all the way around, nice hard bottom, which is what we want so we don't have any leaking of the soup. Oh my goodness, everything's just beautiful. I don't think we could have gotten a better loaf than this. A little large, I will say. I'm gonna have a very big bowl of soup today. I don't think I've ever been this excited to cut into a piece of sourdough in my life. Okay, I have never done this before, so I am just gonna try to cut a hole in the top. Oh my gosh, that's so crunchy. Okay, trying to make it as symmetrical as possible, but I'm sure it's not going to be. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, so ideally we would want to cut these up, and if you put a little bit of olive oil, salt on them and put them back in the oven, you can make really delicious croutons. However, it is dinner time and my kids are starving, so let's get all of this out of here so we can fill it with soup. This just feels like pumpkin carving, but like so much more rewarding because instead of all these guts that you just have to throw away, it's like delicious pieces of bread that you can enjoy with butter. Oh my gosh, greatest invention ever. There you have it, you guys, the most delicious edible bowls you have ever tasted in your life. I told you it was worth the time. As always, thank you guys so much for watching my video. If any of you tried the bread recipe or the soup recipe or both, please let me know in the comments below, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.